But let's start with this big first question. Kate, why there is a war in the first place? Why Russia invaded Ukraine? What's the main? Is Ukraine such attractive target for them? There was no other way to handle the problems between two countries. Why do we have a war?
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining this us talking today. Thank you, Jacek, for a nice question. I prepared some really nice pictures to show you because I see some questions in the chat, and I think we'll also address it during the call. So I would say is that there are a few reasons for that, and it can be some historical, economical, different reasons. So the first one, which you should definitely saw in our media or everywhere, is that there is a constant battle between Russia and NATO. And if you can see on the map, typically Russia is very afraid that there are so many NATO countries around Russia, and Ukraine is currently as a buffer between the NATO and Russia. So they are usually very afraid. Ukraine has its own constitution that we want to become a NATO member in the future, as well as a EU member. And Russia certainly doesn't like it so much because she wants to have a very clear buffer zone between itself and also European members. Also, I can say that the next idea is, besides NATO, is also some historical one, because when we look at different history, and especially a Russian understanding of the history, they think that Russia created Ukraine and Russia was the originator of Ukraine, which actually essentially is not true. Because if we look at this as a pictures, which is very popular during the recent days, Ukraine originated much earlier, and then Russia started, and then Moscow was created actually by some people from Ukraine. So we can see certainly the developments, but currently when we look at and understand and listen what other Russian political leaders are saying, they are saying a bit in a different way. So I think if we just look at the history, Russia has been also always wanted to take the leadership of Ukraine, and they never admitted that Ukraine can be a separate country, independent country, and they always wanted to be as a part of the country. There are a few reasons also, because Ukraine is very rich country in natural resources in the first place, and Russia always wanted to be to use it and possess it as a sphere of leadership. Yeah, so I think if a very brief question, very brief answer,